Right. We are in Judges, and we're in chapter 20. Okay? And it says, Vayetzu b'nei Yisrael, all of b'nei Yisrael went out, V'tikehela Eda ki ish echad, and they all assembled as one, like one nation. Midan, Yad Be'er, I put in that word nation, by the way. Okay, the congregation came together like one man. So that's what I'm saying, like one nation. L'midan Aviad Be'er Sheva, from Dan till Be'er Sheva, Be'er Gilad El Hashem Mitzpah, and from the land of the Gilad to the land to Hashem in Mitzpah. So they're going from Dan to Dan, to Beersheba and the land of Gilad. Okay, so Metzudas David explains, Vayetzu, they went out from their cities like one man. B'haskama echat, they all had one thing in mind. So they came from Dan, which is Leshem, which stands the border, the northeastern border, until Beersheba, which is the northwestern border to Hashem and Mitzpah. Hasrat Shechina Hayit, that's where the divine presence of God was dwelling, as it were. That's why they assembled there. Okay. Let's go on further. Vayityatzu pinot kol ha'am. And so they presented all of the heads of the people presented themselves, called Shiftei Yisrael, all from all the tribes of Israel, Bikahal Am Halokim, in the assemblage of the people of God, of the nation of God, Arba Meod Elef Ish Ragli, 400,000 footmen, Sholef Charev, that drew the sword. And so we have a lot of people there. It says, again, it's explaining that when it says all the heads, Kol Ha'am, Haba, all of the whole nation that came to be assembled there, all of the tribes from one corner, as it were, by themselves, which means they did not mix together. Each tribe stayed separately, apparently, which is interesting. Bikahal, it means that with a number of people. Okay, so you have 400,000 people. What does he want to say here? Corners explains. Yeah. So it's also they arrange themselves differently. Okay, fine. Vayishma'u b'nei Binyamin. I'm sorry, not all. B'nei Binyamin heard. Ki alu b'nei Israel ha-mitzpah, that all of b'nei Israel were in mitzpah. Vayomru b'nei Israel, and b'nei Israel said, Dabru eichen yatahara azot. And b'nei Israel said, saying, how could such a bad thing like this happen? If you notice, the b'nei Binyamin were not invited to the event. That's the point. So he said, so Metzudas David explains, in Kishamu Shenez for Bnei Israel, when they heard that all Bnei Israel assembled, Lo Chashishu Lahem, they didn't Lo Chashu Lahem, Lo Hirgush B'davar Zeh, they didn't suspect anything, there was nothing going on. Well, Zeh Dabru Bnei Israel, and that's when Bnei Israel said, and they asked this, namely, how could such a bad thing happen? And they were in council to decide what to do. Or they said from Bnei Binyamin, Shamu, they heard Ki Alu Mitzpah, that they went up to Mitzpah, Begam Shalu, and they also heard that the Bnei Israel asked the question, how could we allow such a bad thing to happen? V'tshuva the Ish HaLevi, and the response of the Levi, V'etzad Ha'am, and the council of the people, V'asifatem Erekol, and they heard of the assemblage, V'la'arche Kol Zeh, and after all, they got all the reports, Tam Lashon Hara here, after all the reports, Sifu Od Lishloch Lehem, so they additionally would send messages to them, and they wouldn't want to hear it. Because what happened is, again, the way the Metzudas David explains it is two ways. One is either they heard about it, or through information from other people. They heard the news report, or they just they heard that everybody got together, but they didn't think anything of it. So either way, I don't want to skip the Malbim and all these things. So let me see. Where's the Malbim here? So it says, the Malbim just goes with this and says that all of Bnei Israel went out and they assembled. So im hayu holchem bezeh achem ishbar Torah benidon prati. So behold, if they would have gone like with this after the judgment of the Torah and judged everything individually, lo yubali hagiva chayav mita. Then what would have happened is that the people of Giva did not deserve death, like the Ramban says, because that which they wanted to force this person. What they only had, they wanted to rape the guy. That was only in their machshava. That was only in their thought. It wasn't in the action. And that which they had relations with the Pelegesh, according to the Ramban, Pelegesh he below kedushin. The Pelegesh doesn't have kedushin, and therefore it's not a matter of adultery. And furthermore, as we explained, she died because of the cold or for another reason. It wasn't that they killed her. According to all opinions, they didn't kill her. She could have died because of the gang rape, or she could have died because of the cold, but it wasn't a direct result. It was an indirect result. So Rakshi Yisrael hitkanu al masha anasa b'kahal. For some, what Israel was upset about is because it happened in public and it was publicized. So that's why they were judging them according to the laws of deniers. Because a lot of people assembled to this disgusting event and they were quiet about it. And now with all of the individual items that they joined together with them, so since they didn't say anything, they were judging them like a city of idolatry, and now they could kill them, to guard themselves against the momentary, in other words, it's what we call horat shah, where a ruling for the moment. And there's normally, in a general situation, the people would not have been guilty to die. But since they combined a whole bunch of things, and they adjudicated these people were like in Ir HaNidachah, a city that is, totally involved in idolatry. So therefore, they made a ruling for that moment that we have to kill them, to be a geder, to be a fence against this happening again. Now this they could not do unless there was a king of Israel. Then he could, because if there was a king, so he could kill them by the laws of the Malchut. Or if they don't have the king, then they should have got the Sanhedrin together, and the Sanhedrin should have adjudicated the case. None of which happened. Because the Sanhedrin, the court system, stands in the place of the king. And the Sanhedrin could decide that this is an Ir HaNidachah, or there's a group of people who had to die, and they could kill him just like the king. Because the single thing, I guess single would be the best way it says, would be, this was a major profanation of God's name. And that's why it says, all of Bnei Israel went and they assembled the assemblage. And the congregation assembled. To tell us that they assembled Israel, and the elders were their leaders. then what happens is okay, so that, you understand what he's saying? The only way you can judge the people wrong and kill out a whole town who really wasn't guilty of killing, or really wasn't guilty of it because they didn't do it anyway. Yeah. They just didn't say anything against it. So now they become guilty by association. But that is only a king or a Sanhedrin who can rule like that. It's not just we can get together and decide somebody's an Iran Dechat. So you're saying that's what the Pasuk is saying. They came together. His final analysis, that's why it says they came together, they and their elders. So, and that would be one thing. Then it says, V'yatzu pinot and kol ha'am. Then they assembled all the leaders. Rosh Lemo Shehit Yatzvu Keseder HaDegalim. They assembled like the order of the flags, Yehuda, Vedeglo, the Mizrach. So you had Yehuda, which would be his flag was to the east, and so forth. Just as they camped, they traveled. Ub'klalam nimsu kol shiftei Yisrael b'kahal am Hashem, and that way all the tribes were there. Ki nekalu ma'ot tzad shehem im elokim haba'im lekanot al kavod shemo. They assembled the nation of Hashem. They came together to because they wanted to avenge. They were jealous for the honor of God's name. So there were 400,000 men, and none of them were riding horses. Okay? So then it says, V'yishmu b'nei Binyamin, so b'nei Binyamin heard this. Sefer Shediber Zel Lo Ne'elam Binyan, to tell us that nothing was hidden from Binyamin, Ki Shamu She'alu b'nei Yisrael HaMitzpah, that they indeed did hear that Bnei Yisrael got together in Mitzpah, V'gam Shamu Bnei Yisrael Amru Eicha Haita, and so he's going with the second opinion of David, by the way, or whoever was first here. So the Bnei Binyamin also heard that Bnei Yisrael said, "How could such a bad thing happen?" V'kach Shamu Kol Devrim She'Yisapir Ad Pasuk Yud Beit, and they're also going to hear what happened all the way until Yud Beit, for that matter. Pasuk Yud Beit. Kol Zelo Shatu Leiv Levair Achotim Batzvam. And with all this, Bnei Binyamin did not say we're going to wipe out the sinners. Okay? Olavo Gam came Ela Yisifal didn't code Edasmo. And they also didn't think we should go to the assembly. In other words, they could have had the Malbim is suggesting they had two approaches here. One is they heard everything is going on. So what is, if you hear that everybody's getting upset and saying, how could such a bad thing happen? Well, it happened in your little district. So what you should do is get your police out, get your shotrim, get everybody together, find the criminals, prosecute the criminals, and get it over with. Once you've done that, we no longer have a claim against you, right? Imagine if Chicago took care of themselves already. Rahm Emanuel did his job, brought peace and order, law and order back into the city. Nobody was being killed. Nobody had to worry about it. You could walk the streets like the old days, if there were any old days.
Sleep in the park.
Sleep in the park like the good old days. Okay? Was there ever any good old days to Chicago? I don't know. Because as far as I remember, there's always been a negative connotation to Chicago. So I really don't know. But assume, was there, Bill, in history? Was there ever a time that Chicago was seen as a good place? Okay, never seen it. Like I said, in all the movies you see, it's always a bad place. So I don't know. But assuming that there was a good place. But the question is, why does he make law and order? Why does, remember, when Trump became president, he was threatening, he'll send the guard in.
Yeah.
Remember that? I'll send the guard in. He didn't do that either. Okay, it's just all empty threats. But nonetheless, that's what's going on. If everybody's getting together and saying this is so horrible, then why don't you take care of it? That was number one. Or secondly, why don't you send representatives and say, look, it wasn't us. There were criminals. You're going to blame a whole city because of a few people? We're here to join to show we're good people. So he's saying you could have done either one. Then Vayomer B'nai Yisrael, and they said, how could such a bad thing happen? Ki gam sheshamu ha'ma'isa. And they also heard about this action. Why? Because the guy sent the pieces to them. Ve'ika toloi bezel lefi prate. So the main thing is dependent upon the individual items that were happening here. Because if this had come out from individuals, shenesfu pilegesh, that had a shenensu, a Pelagsho, that raped his Pelegesh, v'hi meta machma be'ilah, and she would have died because of the sexual relations. This is not something that Bnei Yisrael would have fought each other over. What would happen is they were getting together because of the disgusting act that took place. Not just the rape. If somebody gets raped, it's a sad thing, it's wrong, it's forbidden, and so on and so forth. But you don't kill out a whole people. You don't kill out all your brothers for that, right? You don't take everybody out. But when you see a navala, something so disgusting that nobody's doing anything, so that is when you wake up. Ki ulai zanta, because perhaps, first of all, this girl may have been a zona already. Maybe this was a normal thing. Oh, aita penoya kifia melitz ramban anshe giva. Or ulai meita machmanakor. No, she could have died for a couple of reasons. So we don't know why she died. It's not a reason to attack. Okay, that's again. So what he's saying is they should have gone, or they should have taken care of the problem. So now, Dalid. Vayana Isha Levi. So the Levite man answered, Isha Hanirtzacha, that the husband of the murdered woman answered and said, okay, right, he's a Levi, right? Yeah. So he said, Hagiv ata asher leBinyamin. I came to Bati ani Halakshi lalun. So I came into Giva that belongs to Binyamin. I am my concubine to lodge. What happens? Vayakum alai ba'ali Giva. So the men of Giva came up against me. Vayasu ba'alai et abayit laila. And they surrounded me, they surrounded the house upon me at night. How do you want to say that? Okay. Oti dimu laharog, and they wanted to kill me. And my Peleges, they afflicted, and she died. Okay? So, it's interesting, he's not saying they wanted to rape me, he's saying they wanted to kill me. And so Rashi, David says, Isha habal, so it's again, Oti damo, Dimo, right? Dimu, they wanted my blood, Baror haya etzla, it was clear to him, Im lo haya manicham la'aso bo nevala hazod, that they would not just do this disgusting thing to him, Terem shenid paisu pelagsho, before he appeased them, before they were appeased with his Pelegish, they would have killed him. And she died from the majority, from the many be'ilot that she had, from many all the sexual relations that she had. And so, and the Malbim says, the man answered, Balotzi Shalaita Penuya. He wanted to bring out that she was neither a Penuya, a woman who was just a single girl, Lo Zanta, nor did she prostituted herself away from kihu ish isha b'der kiddushin. Rather, they were married. He wants to argue. Okay, shaitim teret lo, and she was mutter to him. She was permitted to him kilo zanta takta, because she wasn't mezana herself. Shalom meita machmad akor. She did not die because of the kol kivat nitzcha, she was murdered. But Yomer give ata the Binyamin bati, and says I came to give her. Hine chet zeh mitadam b'chitzun. So one, this sin was comparable to the actions in Sodom. Gam Sham, also there, Boa Orchem Lalun. Also there, the guests came to lodge. V'karu el Lot, and they called to Lot. And Lot they called to Lot, right? Hotzi and Hashem, the people of the city called out to Lot. Hotzi and Hashem v'nei da'otam, bring out those men, and we're going to know them. V'zeh cherpa gadol l'chalal Yisrael, and that was a tremendous shame for all of Klal Yisrael. And that's why he said, I came to large. He's making the comparison like we learned before. Okay, Vayakum, and now we have to go back to the pasuk. So I'm just going to run through the psukim for a second. Let's get the psukim. Vayakum alai balei give us. I'm sorry, they surrounded me. Fine. V'yoches pelagshi vav. So they grabbed my. So I grabbed my pelagesh. V'an techeha. And I cut her up, okay? Dissected her. Ooh, that's a nice word for it. I dissected. I cut her up. And I sent her. And I sent her through all the fields or throughout the territory of Bnei Israel, because they did a disgusting thing, a lewdness and a disgrace in Israel. And then let's just continue. Which I don't want to go too far ahead, so. Vav. I sent her out. Why? So Mrs. David says, I sent the pieces out. La'orir leiv linkom nechem. So in order to fire you up to get revenge, ki asu al bnei giva yomar to do revenge on bnei giva because of what they've done. Okay. So Zion, Hine kulchem b'nei Israel. Behold, all of you are b'nei Israel. All of you b'nei Israel. You are all b'nei Israel. Havu lachem davar. So, okay, give yourselves a decision. Ve'etza and counsel halom. Here, let's have some. Figure out what we're going to do. He says again, Hine kulchem am kadosh. Behold, we're all the holy nation. You are all a holy nation. He's not just letting him get away with all Israel. Okay, we're all the United States. You are a holy nation. And this is a very bad action for you. So you have to come up with a counsel because this matter is touching you in a general manner. So he's really firing up the troops. He's not saying us, by the way. He's taking himself out of the equation. He's looking to them and he's saying, you're a holy nation. And this is disgusting. This happened so long ago, hundreds of years ago, and I felt the same thing. We thought we grew past this. Apparently you didn't. So now it's up to you. Vayakam kol ha'am. So again, all the nation got up. Ish echad lemor, like one man. In other words, unified, saying, Lo nelech ish ahalo, no man will go back to his tent. That's interesting. I'm going to pick on one grammatical point. It says, no lo nelech. What does that mean? What's nelech?
To go.
No, to go, yes, but why nelech?
We
will not go.
We will not go.
Right? If we translate, no man will go back to his tent. But it's, we will not go, a man to his tent. And you translate this, you have to translate this, no man will go back to his tent, but it's interesting. We will not go. Who's we? Each man to his tent. Lo nasor, and again, the we. Lo nasor ish lebeito. And we will not go a man to his house. So you won't go back to your tent, to your house. What's the difference?
And he's talking to them, saying you, and all of us.
No, all the people. He said what he said to the people. Now all the people say, we're not going home.
Oh, the people said.
People said, V'yakim kol am. People said, we won't go back. So, Metzudas David says, V'yakam nish'aru kamim al avdam. Again, they stood up. They won't go back until they finish. And now, davar. This is the thing that we will do to give aleh b'goral. We will go up to it by lot. And why is a lot? She says, there's also what the people are saying. It's going to go upon them with a goral, a lottery, to see who go up and who will take provisions. So we have to figure out who's going to go up with us, who's going to be falling back, so on and so forth. That goes by lottery. So we will take 10 men of 100. The Chol Shiftei Israel from all the tribes of Israel, Umeya le'elef le'revava, and we'll take 100 from 1,000, 1,000 from 10,000. excuse me, Lakachat Seda La'am, to bring or to take provisions for the nation, La'asol Leboam Legeva Binyamin, so that they can do it when they come to the giver of Binyamin Chol Hanavala She'asa Yisrael, like all, or according to all the disgrace that was done in Israel. And Methuselah David says 100 to all the tribes. So for all the nation, for all the tribes, they will take the ratio of 10 to 100, and they will take the provisions for the 9/10, so Yotzim and Chama for the 9/10 to go to war. Right, 9 parts to go to war. Okay. So la'asot lavoam, la'asot b'vom legeva, so they can go together according and attack. Okay. V'yesef kol ish Yisrael ela'ir, so all of the men gathered toward the city. Ki ish echad chaverim, like one, as one man in unison. And finally, v'yishlechu shiftei Yisrael an Hashem, and all the men of all the tribes of Israel sent men v'chol shiftei Binyamin against or through in all the tribes of Binyamin, saying, Mahara hazot v'sheniyata bechem. What is this bad thing that you allowed to happen, that has come upon you? And so what happened? Now they're trying to talk to them. And they said, Yud Aleph, Yubeit, V'yishulchu terem, Hitchilu, Hidachem, before they wanted to devour them, Shalchu, Bechol, Shiftei Yisrael, they sent throughout all the tribes of Binyamin, to say, which means the families of Binyamin, Ki Kamo, Sheva, Kru, Mishpacha, fine, okay, so, and they said, Ma Ra'am, Mam O Gedol Arazot. So they're asking, what did you do wrong? Why did you allow this to happen? Okay, now that's good. There's still time. Good. So let's just pick up the Malbim now to get the rest of the story of what's going on. So you have the basic story, right? The guy comes, they all assembled. What they did was they came to Mitzpah, and they're having a meeting. What are we going to do about this guy, about this tribe? And the Levi fires them up. He says that this is an unacceptable situation. I came, they should have welcomed me in. Well, instead, they try to rape me, kill me, they raped my wife. And now she's a wife, not a concubine anymore. And they raped my wife. She was a good girl. She died. This is not acceptable. It's all a sin against you. What are we going to do? What are you going to do about this? They say this is unacceptable. They agree with him. This is unacceptable. And so they all gather. They get their army ready. And what they did, then now they go and they say to Binyamin, why did you do this? How did you allow this to happen? That's what we're holding. Okay. So Malbim says, "Vayakumu alai." They rose up. Now we're going back again to the. Oh, I said that already. Did I say that? No, I didn't say that. So the Malbim, we're going back to where the Levi is talking. It says they rose up against me. Shehu shehivahu, because he and she and he. Lo haya lehem shum esek imahem adata. They had nothing to do. Now the wife neither Pelegish nor he had anything to do with the people until now. Lo yichidim. It wasn't individuals that rose against me. Rock bale giba, but rather the honored people of the city, and it's and it was public. So here's something interesting, because that wasn't the way we originally learned the story, right? The original way of the story was that the lowlifes came. Not the honored ones. And he's saying, no, the honored ones of the city and his masters came publicly. And they came, they surrounded me in the house at night. This is truly like Sodom. No, it's not true. Either the Levi is lying or the Tanakh is lying. Somebody's lying. According to this. If I follow Malbim. By the way, if I just follow logic, somebody's lying. It wasn't Nichbadim of the city, it was the lowlifes, right? So, but if I want to, but can you imagine if we really said the truth? I was surrounded by lowlifes of the city, and they said to me, let me come out. And we said, no, I set my Pelegish up because I was angry with her. People are going to say, okay, I'm sick and tired of Jerry Springer. I know I turned him off a long time ago, so why we have to watch him again? And nothing would have happened, right? You don't fight over stupidity. But here he's making it the whole case, like Sodom, okay? So Oti Dimo Laharo, they wanted to kill me. Shebavadai Hayamein Al Yedei Ha'inoi. I certainly would have died via the affliction. Kol Shekod, all the more so my Pelagsho, my Pelegish, she Inu Ota, they afflicted her. They right, Tamud, and she died. After Isha Darka Kebachach, and even though a woman is normal for a woman to have sex, like this. V'gam, unlike the man, it wouldn't be normal. So v'gam rak dimo lo asu, and certainly also his blood. They didn't do anything to lahutzruch lahatzil latzmo. He surely it was necessary for him to save himself via his pelegesh. Via pelegesh inoy. So my pelegesh they afflicted. Vihi efshan. It was impossible. Sha'al yedei sha'oto dimo laharog al yedi. Okay, so it says that that via that I didn't want it, they were going to kill me through this, so they afflicted my Pelegish instead, which means shalakcha ba'al korcha, they took her by force. V'hu chamas gadol b'farasi, and this was a great act of treachery in public. And then it says, Ki asu zima v'navala, so they made a disgusting thing. Ki amasa hi zima, this is disgusting. Mitzacha haya barabim, and since it was public, bederach kefirahi, it was also a way of denying God. So that was navala negel chol Yisrael, and that was something, that was an abomination that touched all of Israel. She says, "V'hinei kulchem." So now behold, all of you. Yesh lechem din melech la'asot mishpat. You have the law of the ability to judge as a king, to do justice according to the hour, and to make a fence around these things. So he's really giving him he must have thought about this a long time to have such a good speech. So Avulachem Davar, so ascribe to yourselves this matter. Hu Pesak Din, this is the ruling of the matter, what you should do. V'yachakach Eitzah, and after you decided what the halacha is, have a council. Eich La'otzi Mishpat, how do you carry it across? Lamasei Levarachotim, to now you decide that they're sinners. How do you decide to wipe out the sinners? Lo nelech isha lo. So they said, no man will return to his tent, the she'er sham, to remain there. Ach lo nesor ish beito, nor should anybody go back to his house. The fi sha'a ohechen, according to the hour, or to prepare provisions. If you're going to say, so if we don't go back, we have 400,000 people here, nice convention, but who's going to prepare the food? So they say to them, this is the thing you're going to do in Giva. Rosh Limor L'Tzorch Giva, for the needs of Giva. Aleh Vora, for the sake. Did I miss it? Sketcha? No? Okay. Doesn't make sense where we're stopping now. I'll have to go with it. So it says you're going to go back, right? And then Aleha Rosh Limor Ba'avora, you're going up on behalf of those to wipe out the sinners from his midst. Because he only wanted to kill the sinners. They didn't want to kill everybody else. V'yasof. And so they gathered El Mitzpah, to the city of Mitzpah, ad Sheichinu ad Seir, until they prepared the provisions, V'ad Yishluchu Hashluchem, until they sent the messengers. Yishluchu. So they sent Sefer Ra'at B'nai Binyamin. This now we're hearing of the wickedness of the B'nai Binyamin. Yisrael shalchu lahem shlucheihem parklu b'shalom. Israel sent their messengers, and they started with peaceful terms. V'amru, when they said Ma Ra, what is the evil? Ra'u ad kama gedola Ra. See how great this evil is. And Ma Piria, what is this fruit? V'hi, in other words, the fruit is we're going to go to war. So v'hi niya telechem, and it would be to you atem kodmim lebir. It's really for you to wipe out the sinners. So that's what they came. Okay, so the Malbim is saying that they came first to say, okay, first they had their own counsel. First of all, the son Shem, the guy lied. He made a case that wasn't the case. They acted upon that. So I'm going to put a little into this. They should have investigated the matter more. They should have said, wait a second. Really, what happened? Was it lowlifes? Was it nichbadim? Was it the leaders of the people? Let's investigate. That's what should have happened. Well, let's investigate it before, because right now they're coming to B'nai Binyamin, right? And they're coming to their doorstep and say, "What did you do?" It's very accusatory. Nobody wants to answer that. Before we get to Binyamin's response. Nobody wants to feel like, wait a second, you never asked me, you just accused me, and I'm guilty without being proven this. We're innocent before, what's our thing? I'm innocent before.
Well, you're just accused.
You're guilty until proven, you're innocent until proven guilty. Right? They're guilty until proven innocent. Yeah. That's what I want to say. You're just accused. So whenever I'm accused, I'm going to jump out at you because you accused me. Instead of saying, we have a problem in River City. We have a problem. And this is what's being said. What really happened? I always say as a rabbi that when two people come to me and they have a fight, well, actually, it's not only me, it's Pirkei Avot. It says when two people come to the judge and they're having an argument, you should see them both as wicked because they're both liars. You have to sort out. It's his truth, her truth, or his, and somewhere in the middle there's a real truth. So I have my perception. This guy's perception, again following the Malbim, this guy's perception was the hoity-toity people attacked me, and everybody was in it, and it was like Sodom. It wasn't that way. According to the story we heard, the simple, I always say, tell me the facts. No, I don't want your interpretation. Tell me the facts. The minute they say, well, I think, no, I don't want, I think. Facts. Just give me the facts and I'll judge.
You could use this as a textbook for political science.
Right.
Because we see this on a daily, multiple times a day, where you take, and when people look at the news, how can this serve my cause? The spinmeisters take this and they present it in favor of their argument, and then they care nothing about getting to the truth or having justice.
Correct.
How can I use this to my advantage?
It's true. And that's part of the problem. That's part of the problem.
It's amazing to see as we go in between the lines here.
Right.
It seems very, very modern.
Well, I've always said if you want to know what's going on in society, Shoftim is the book to go for.
Yeah.
This is, we spent a long time on this book, but this is the book that really does cover the constant slips back into idolatry, and in other words, whatever you want to call that, leaving God thing. We're constantly doing that. And when things are going bad, we turn to God. We have back and forth this whole thing. Somebody tells us this, and we say, yeah. We're going to change. And we actually do change for a little while, but then things start to get good again, and we forget what we've done. So that is a constant thing, and you see that within so much of society, no matter where you are. It happens that we are really seeing it today, and for the past, 30 years, we're seeing the same pattern happening in the U.S. Yeah. So, it does seem, and that's why when you look at the Musar books that we're going through on Tuesday, or any of the Musar books that we've gone through, it's like they were written yesterday. Mm-hmm. And that's scary. That's really scary that we haven't learned in 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 years what to do. It's very scary. And as a person who has to go through it, I'm telling you, it's when I see, what they're saying, or when you read what the prophets are saying, and again what it means. It's very, you're thinking, what we couldn't figure this stuff out. Yeah.
It gives you real insight into the first commandment of the idolatry, of making a god out of yourself, to make yourself the god of justice.
Right.
There's
actually the second commandment. First one is to say, I am the God. First one is, I am God. But the second one is, don't make any idols. But yeah, that's what it is. It's constantly going back to that. And again, if people would just look and see what's going on behind the scenes instead of just taking the headlines, I think we would save ourselves a lot of headaches. I think we have to stop here, right? Yeah. Okay, we'll have to stop
It
here.
really ties in together that there's only one God, but we can't become God.
Right.